I was working at a nuclear power plant. That change itself creates the same phenomena in the brain as meeting a bear in the woods. Key principles stated by Aristotle, many other people over the last 2,000 years. Perception equals or becomes reality. The brain changes the way it perceives information in a high stress situation. When you put at risk something that I value, my health, my safety, my economic well-being, etc. It's going back to what's the whole purpose of risk, crisis, high stress communication? Name at least three of the, you know how much I like the number 3, which is the magical number in risk communication. Name at least 3 factors other than numbers which affect people's perceptions of harm, perceptions of concern, perceptions of worry, or more generally, perceptions of risk. The brain gets hijacked in a high stress situation. As much as 80% of information can be lost or more by the strong emotions engendered by a perceived high risk, by a crisis or high stress situation. There's 7 basic emotions you can express, 47 supposedly sub-emotions. You have to get into the shoes of the other. Empathy skills. This was the radioactive pool of the nuclear power plant. It was leaking. One of the most successful crisis communications in American history was the pandemic influenza campaign. That was 2009. It's an echo of the 27-9 principle, which in turn is an echo of keep it short and simple, which in turn is an echo of when people are stressed, they have difficulty processing information. You'll often hear about pre-crisis communication, which effectively is risk communication. People want to know that you care before they care what you know. It's more than just the psychology, the psychometrics of how people perceive risk, that actual changes take place in how the brain processes information under conditions of high stress. I think one of the most fascinating cases, crisis communications I've ever seen, was the Maple Leaf products. The word crisis comes from the Old French or Old English, meaning a turning point in a disease. It's very different to be in the midst of a crisis itself when all hell is breaking loose. Malaria, yellow fever, dengue, chikungunya, West Nile virus, hurricane, active shooter, explosion, accident, etc. And that first case study, I thought was one of the most fascinating I ever worked on. So why would you want to, it's a model called tell me more, tell me again. The principle called primacy recency. People tend to focus most on what they hear or what you say first and last. Primacy recency. 1 part per trillion is the mathematical equivalent of 1 second in 320 centuries. Let me throw one more in, another level filter through which information goes. Again, let me educate and explain to you.